You are listening to Nerd Best Friends, a podcast that covers the nerdy conversations you're already having, or wish you could. It's the nerdiest thing you'll do this week.
This is Analese.
This is Rob.
And we are your Nerd Best Friends.
Another top 5 list coming your way. This time, it's our must-watch holiday favorites.
This is Nerd Best Friends, where we celebrate the nerdy conversations you're already having or wish you were. We are your nerdy companions on a quest through cosplay, comics, D&D, pop culture, and all things wonderfully weird. If you're loving this ride, hit subscribe, follow, or share this episode with your fellow nerds, because the algorithm needs a little nudge from the nerd herd. Let's make Season 5 our nerdiest adventure yet. This is episode 87. We're right heading up to the holiday seasons and closing out 2025. How you doing, Rob?
I am doing like most people are doing this time of year. It's been very busy, and every stinking weekend it seems like there's some event, and I'm a little tired. How are you?
It's about the same. We have things nearly every night. There's performances that I go to as the principal. There's staff holiday celebrations. We have a mid-year retirement. We're celebrating someone who's been at the school for a long time. Like every night there's something. But then as educators, we do get 2 weeks off, if not more. Did your school district get 3?
It's like a weird 2.5 thing. We come back on the 5th or something. Are you doing that?
Okay. I remember last year, the year before, your district did a 3-week winter break, right? Yeah.
Yes. I don't know who makes these calendars. They don't ask me, that's for sure.
I am on the calendar committee for my district. So
are you? Now, here's the big question that I get, or that I always remember from my time as an educator. When is your October Professional Development Day?
We don't have one in October.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
In our district, we've always had one in October. And for the time when I was in the classroom, there was this brief few years where it was perfect because the PD day would be October 31st. No school on Halloween. It was wonderful. None of that hassle, none of that BS, none of that craziness that comes with kids showing up to school with costumes and a bunch of weird props and trying to stuff themselves with candy. It was incredible.
Your experience, I was just going to say, your experience is a little bit different than mine because you taught elementary school. Now, high school is 50-50. Not all kids really dress up. It's not all candy craze. If anything, we've got to just remind the high schoolers, like, don't wear a mask that covers your face everywhere. Don't bring fake weapons, things like that.
Which I'm sure is a fight. You got to fight every year.
It's thankfully at this school, it's not so bad. So as a high school educator, I've been at schools where it's a fight every year. I've been at schools like in Las Vegas, no costumes on Halloween, no matter what. Right. And then I've been at schools like this one, which it's actually really well celebrated. ASB puts on a costume contest at lunch and lots of kids get involved and everyone's pretty tame. We typically have to take away 1 or 2 like fake weapons and like, remember, you can't bring this stuff. And well, can I bring it out for the costume contest? So we let them do that. They could take it out for the costume contest and they got to give it right back to us when the costume contest is over.
Gotcha.
The staff at my school really get it. They do a theme every year and they go all out. So at my school, at the high school level, it's kind of fun when it's allowed to be fun and it's under control. But I can see as elementary school, kids are going nuts.
Well, it was the middle school, which was the most troubling. When I worked at the middle school, that's where those kids do not want to comply with the don't bring a fake weapon to school. They always want to try to sneak and put their scary big mask on so you don't know who they are when they're screaming and running through the hallways and being ridiculous. So anyway, that changed after a few years. It was interesting. It kind of lined up with when I stepped out of the classroom into a different role. And then they switched it. It was no longer on Halloween. It was always on Andrew's birthday. And so it was like, I really used to like taking that day off, right? We'd take the day off. We'd pull Andrew out of school. We'd do something fun. He was a little kid, whatever. And I was like, oh, cool. I would like to take that day off and do something. No, that's like the busiest day for me now. Those professional development days, like I got to coordinate so many things. Everything's going wrong. I got to like quarterback everything. And it's like so much for that. I wish it would go back to Halloween.
Right. Well, we do the day after Halloween.
Well, that's also a great call.
A good idea. Yep. Kids are
That's
all
also a great choice.
Candy, sugar hungover and grumpy and stuff. But I will say this year for Andrew's birthday, I texted him. He's like, thanks. For my birthday this year, I got pancakes and a math test.
Yeah. It was like finals week or something, the end of the term or something that week. Yeah, he had a rough time of it. Those days of him being a little kid and being like, "Oh, well, I'll take the day off and we'll go to Disneyland."
We'll go to Legoland. Yeah.
Yeah, those days are over.
All right, well, let's get into it. Let's start with some nerd mail.
Nerd mail.
Rob, we have nerd mail from Rose, listener Rose. I don't know if you are aware of this, but she's let us know. And she let us know a little while ago. I forgot to tell you because I've been a bad best friend. But Stargate has come back to TV by way of Prime Video to the extent that Sci-Fi Friday is back.
Shut up. Stargate? Sci-Fi Friday?
Stargate. Oh, it looks like it might be a new series. Disney Plus has Star Wars and Paramount Plus has Star Trek. So it's about time Amazon gets its own sci-fi franchise with Star in the title. Prime Video has just greenlit a TV revival of the iconic Stargate franchise, according to a report by Deadline. So it looks like
so it doesn't actually exist.
They're bringing it back, but also they've got to be, if they have the franchise, they must be playing the old ones.
Well, that's cool because it wasn't streaming anywhere, I don't think. I think that's kind of something that stopped us from watching it, like with Andrew, was we would have to dig out the old DVDs, which I do have, but off in a box somewhere.
We are still waiting for them to actually put remastered version of the original series on Prime, especially the first few seasons, really awful quality. So who knows what's happening, but Rose, thanks for the heads up because we know how much Rob loves Stargate.
I haven't been thinking about Stargate a lot, but I do really like Stargate.
Or Sci-Fi Fridays.
Actually, shoot. Okay, hang on. When does this episode come out? Is it before Christmas? It's before Christmas,
right? This episode comes out the week before Christmas Eve.
Dang it. Okay, I can't spoil anything. But there's going to be a big reason to go back and look at old Stargate stuff coming to a day after Christmas near someone in my family.
Okay, that's a good tip.
We'll have to remember that next time after we do our...
Somewhere down the line, yeah.
2026 and all that jazz.
Well, maybe it means they're refurbishing the old series. Maybe it means Sci-Fi Fridays are back. Listener Rose has got your back. Rob, we're going to go check out to see what they have going on Amazon Prime.
I wonder if they would... Okay, I just got to wait and see. I'll put that on my radar. Maybe there's like an Instagram page I can follow or something to see what's going on. Probably if I were on the Stargate Superfan Facebook page that's been around since 1995, I would know about this kind of stuff. Well, thank you very much, Listener Rose. I am now excited about Stargate. I hope it goes back to its roots with how familiar with Stargate are you, Analese?
The only ones I've really seen is when we were all working at Rio Mesa and then you and Sabu and Maria, you'd all leave at halftime of the home games and then go start watching stuff. And then I'd join you when the games were over and you'd be halfway through an episode or whatever. That's my experience with Stargate.
So
Starbuck, right?
No, that's Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, okay, well, that's what I remember.
You probably remember Battlestar Galactica. Stargate was a movie, and then it became TV series with Richard Dean Anderson. But if you remember from that movie, it was all about basically the conceit is, the pyramids. They were built by aliens, bro.
I do remember this faintly.
Yes, yes. It was this idea that all the iconography of Ra and Hatshepsut and people walking around with crocodile heads and bird heads and stuff. It was because they were aliens. And so in Stargate, there's dudes with big metal ancient Egyptian looking helmet things on. Let's get back to that.
I mean, we might as well. And yes.
It's literally, when we fight the Yuan Ti in Dungeons and Dragons and it's the guys with the snake heads?
Yes.
That, except sometimes it's the Anubis head and sometimes it's a bird and sometimes it's whatever. That's it. And it's the best.
Yeah, I'm going to say I remember Battlestar Galactica more.
Yeah.
But what you're saying, I do have some memory of it. So maybe they'll remaster it. Maybe the new series will be really good. It sounds like we're going back to it.
It went places because then there was Stargate Atlantis. Remember Atlantis?
Yes.
It was aliens. That was the spin-out. It got a little silly, but we'll see.
Well, if you know all about this, write in, let us know, or send in your deep thoughts, nerd questions, or talk nerdy to me subjects you'd like us to cover by sliding into our DMs or send those topics in an email to podcast@nerdbestfriends.com. In the meantime, we're about to hit winter break, and now we're going to have some time to really get into the holiday spirit. Let's talk about our top 5 nerdiest favorite holiday must-watch things.
Absolutely. It is the time. It's the time. Even when you're a couple California kids like us and the weather's still good, it is the time where you stay in and watch movies. Maybe because it gets dark at freaking 3:30 in the afternoon or whatever.
And you think it's 10 o'clock when it's 6.
Exactly. Yep. You're exhausted, but maybe that's it. But so it's a top 5 list. Annalese, what is your number 5 holiday must watch?
My number 5 is something that it took a while for me to come around to, and that is the movie Elf.
Yes.
I know my sister loves this movie. My sister loves this movie, and I love Will Ferrell. You know, he is also an alumni of the University of Southern California, but I'm a big fan of his comedy, and I don't know. I think I at first thought it was kind of annoying. Mm-hmm. You know, the character's kind of annoying, hard to take, but it's grown on me over the years. And I was just talking about this with my partner a couple of weeks ago when we were starting to really decorate and feel like it was holiday spirit. We put that movie on because both of us agree you don't have to sit and watch it. You can laugh at the parts while you're also, you know, taking out the tree and plugging it all in and putting up the lights and the decorations. So it's slowly but surely made my top 5 for the holiday must watch. Every year it's got to be on at least once. But good film, lots of quotable lines. And at the end of the day, it's really funny and it's really touching.
I am right there with you. When it came out and stuff, I'm like, that looks really dumb. I'm not so into that or whatever. But it was watching it later when Andrew was like that perfect age. Right? Yeah. He was like 7 or 8. And we watched it and he just laughed and laughed. You know, that like little kid, just absolute belly laugh where they can't control themselves laugh. That happened in that movie. And ever since then, I'm like, that movie's great. Yeah. It's wonderful. But I will say the best part of that movie transcends the movie itself to Will Ferrell. And I know he's done this multiple times, but I think it was last year I was actually present for it. We were at an LA Kings game at Crypto.com Arena, which he is a regular, viewer, a regular attendee to those things. You see him all the time. All of a sudden, we look down across the rink and there's Will Ferrell. This is a week after Christmas, maybe, or like that same weekend, around New Year's time. And he's there, just sitting in his seat, full elf costume, scraggly beard, like he hasn't shaved in a few days, with a beer and a cigarette in his fingers, just sitting back, looking all grouchy. And they put the camera on him, and he's just sitting there, and the crowd goes nuts. It was been 20 years since that movie came out, but he knew if he showed up and did that bit for 5 minutes, everybody would just go crazy and probably remember how much they like the movie Elf and go buy it, and he could get another check in the mailbox.
Yep. It is reciprocal benefit for Will Ferrell, the person, for sure. But he also, it's cool to have someone who just will continue to play into it, because you definitely have actors like, I did that movie 20 years ago, I don't really care about it. But he knows
can we
what
talk
it
about
means
anything else, please? But no, he's a great sport about it. Like Anchorman, he'll do the same thing. He'll show up places as Anchorman and do his thing. Like, he's a really good sport about all of that kind of stuff. Fun guy. Anyway.
And he pays tribute to these characters that he helped create and made household names of across the world.
I would like to think it's because he's doing it for the right reasons. He is an entertainer, and he knows that it makes people happy to see these characters and see these movies. So he will continue to do that because it makes people happy.
I'm also just going to pay a quick note to the casting of this film. James Caan as the kind of Scrooge character. It's perfectly done by him and believable all the way around, and even believable once he makes the turnaround into having the Christmas spirit. Such a good casting choice for this whole film.
It's Lisa Marie Presley, right? Who's the... No. It's why did I even open my mouth? Why would I open my mouth and try to think of an actor name?
Is Zooey Deschanel.
Zooey Deschanel. Thank you.
Yeah. In one of her first, if not really early, if not first role, a major role. And weird to see her blonde. And a singing part, because that's what she did.
It's a Christmas movie. Somebody's got to sing.
You can see a little bit of her new girl character, Jess. You can see a little bit of it in this character in Elf, too. So it's cool. It's cool to see.
This out.
Hey, Rob, I'm looking at the list, so I know what your number 5 is, but I want to note that this is why we called it Holiday Must Watch instead of like Christmas movies or holiday movies, because it doesn't necessarily have to be a movie. And it doesn't necessarily have to be about Christmas. So tell us about your number 5.
Well, my number 5, I am going to make the argument, is a holiday movie.
Okay.
Because everyone watches it during the holidays. No, it has nothing to do with Christmas or Hanukkah or anything like that. But it is the ubiquitous Lord of the Rings watch through that everyone does on winter break. It was funny when I was brainstorming ideas for the podcast and I'm like, oh, what are some nerdy holiday specials and movies? The first thing that came up was like, well, everybody watches Lord of the Rings during the holidays because that's the only time you have time to watch 40 hours. That's the only
time you have 97 hours.
Exactly. Sweeping vistas of New Zealand. But yeah, I missed it. For whatever reason, we did not do the watch last year.
Were you knee deep in the beginning of your CTO program that you didn't have the spare time?
I think something else must have been going on. I know what it was. I didn't have any vacation time and I had to work every single day.
Yeah, your whole thing with your contract days got really funky. I forgot about that.
That's what happened. I didn't have any vacations last year. So yeah, it was by the time, any days that I did get off during that time was oh my God, run around and do shopping and this and that and whatever because I didn't have any. That's what happened. So this year could be better. Although the way these last 6-8 weeks have been going, there's been no time to do anything.
Do you usually start it in December or during winter break specifically?
During the winter break. So it's those times where historically, especially when I was on a 180-day educator calendar and there was this time, I've just got days off that you can do. So it would be things I'm going to paint a bunch of miniatures and I'm going to put Lord of the Rings on. Or when Andrew was younger and watching them for the first times, it would be let's make popcorn and sit down and actually pay attention and watch the movie. Those kinds of things. But it's usually those days where it's oh my gosh, I'm just going to do this 18-hour sit and hobby and paint and just close myself off to the world and have that perfect Zen nerd time of Lord of the Rings and gaming and miniature painting and that kind of stuff. Man, I would love to get that in this year. Run out of time, but I would love to.
Break starts next week, so go put it on your schedule. You schedule it, you're going to do it.
Maybe. You know how it is. My schedule is not exactly my own. It's a family calendar.
Everyone must watch Lord of the Rings while I paint. Just sit here and shut up.
No, it's just there's this thing to do, this thing to do, this thing to do, this thing to do. Where's the 5-hour gap for Twin Towers? I don't see it.
Yeah, because you do the totally uncut director's version that's
Absolutely.
3 times
Extended
longer than
editions.
The theatrical. Yes, of course.
Extended editions, the only editions. I don't know how people can do because they'll do the same thing. It'll be in theaters. I guarantee if we look around right now, there will be theaters doing these marathons. I can't imagine how anybody can do that. They have an intermission between each movie for 15, 20 minutes to go to the bathroom and get more snacks. But I cannot imagine eating that much popcorn, drinking that much soda, sitting in one place for that long, not going to the bathroom and pausing it. But people do it every year.
I can't imagine doing it to watch the films in the first place, much less to watch them again in the theaters. Let's go to number 4. Rob, what is your number 4 holiday must watch?
So after putting Lord of the Rings, I really was okay, maybe let's make this a little more holiday centric. And I was thinking about some of the old classics and things that I've seen a zillion times. The Garfield Halloween special, all of these, old cartoons, the Rudolph, the Red-Nosed Reindeer, all those things. And I'm honestly, I would not sit down and watch that. It's not a must watch. That's so everyone's seen it, but I can't sit through it. It's just, I've seen it too many times. It's too old. When was the last time a holiday movie or a holiday special actually was entertaining to me and really enjoyable? And that was the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, guest starring Kevin Bacon.
Wow.
That is incredible. Now, I'm not saying it's good or art, but I will say it is this in-universe Marvel cinematic thing where they're let's do a goofy Christmas special. And goodness gracious, did they? And it is laugh out loud funny. If you haven't seen it,
never seen it.
It's modern. It's funny. It's fourth wall breaking and irreverent. It's really funny. So I'm going to go with Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special because that is the last holiday special movie that I was this is entertaining. I am laughing out loud and I'm super glad I took the time to watch it.
I can't remember the last holiday special that I've watched.
Right?
That's a good point. My number 4 is one of those movies that is on all the time, but I think it can't be Christmas. It can't be the holiday season without a Charlie Brown Christmas. And of course, the poor little Christmas tree and all the things that come with Linus playing the piano. And
it is ubiquitous.
It is.
The song,
Mm-hmm.
like everybody knows it. It's there, and it is every year for the last 50 years or whatever.
Yes.
And you're right. It's not Christmas without that movie.
And I'm going to use the word must watch loosely. Mm-hmm. It's on, and we're cooking or baking or...
It's not a must-watch, it's an unavoidable. How about that?
Well, I'll call like A Christmas Story that plays for 24 hours nonstop unavoidable, right? Like, and I'm not a big fan of that movie.
List. No.
It did not make my list either. And same with the Frosty the Snowman old cartoon and the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer old cartoon. To me, it doesn't feel like the holiday season without a few things, and the Charlie Brown Christmas movie is one of them.
Okay.
Like,
I kind of lump all of those kids' movies together, and especially because it's one of those things where it's like when there are kids at grandma's house or aunt whoever's house or wherever we're going, those are going to be
the movie that's playing. Yeah, you're right. Going, right? So that's kind of funny, but I lump them all into the same thing. Like, yep, those are there, and they are timeless classics. I could probably go my whole life and never see them again and be okay. Yeah, no, it's got to be on at some point. I liken this one to listening to the Alvin and the Chipmunk Christmas album, right? It's just from my childhood, right? And this movie is just on from my childhood. For me, it's a must watch, but again, I'll use the word watch loosely. It's got to be on at some point. It's gonna be on at some point. I won't change the channel.
Okay. Well, how about your number 3?
Number 3 is along the same lines, but this one I will sit and watch. To me, this is a must watch. I love the Disney classic cartoon version of A Christmas Carol with Scrooge McDuck.
Yes!
Yes, this is a must watch. I own this one, and this one has to be played on Christmas Day while I'm drinking cocoa or coffee and just kind of hanging out in the morning. So I'm
really glad you reminded me about that one. It's been a long time since I watched the actual Scrooge McDuck Scrooge movie. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Wow. Shoot. Remind me, who are the ghosts? Like Goofy's one of them. Is it like Goofy and Donald are...
No, because Donald Duck is Scrooge.
Well, no, Scrooge McDuck is Scrooge. Who's Cratchit? I got it. Oh my gosh, it's been so long.
It's been a while. I mean, it's on every year, but again, I use the term watch loosely.
Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Yes, so Scrooge McDuck plays Ebenezer Scrooge. Mickey Mouse plays Bob Cratchit.
Right.
I remember that, Mickey and Minnie, and then they have the little children, Mickeys.
Goofy is the Jacob Marley.
Goofy is Hal Smith. Yep. Pete and the Giant are the ghosts of Christmas present and future. Jiminy Cricket is the ghost of Christmas past.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of other characters too, right? Minnie Mouse is Emily Cratchit.
Sure, the whole Cratchits are like the mouses.
The Mickey, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Willie the Giant and Pete.
I remember, Pete from Mickey Mouse Club. Or no, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Yes, the Clubhouse, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I had forgot Jiminy Cricket is definitely in this.
He's the ghost of Christmas past.
What a choice. Interesting.
But yeah, I really love Disney's take on this. I think it's a time-honored classic. The Christmas Carol is a time-honored classic, and this was just a really great way to tell this story to kids, and it still really is. I think it's to me, it's more meaningful than the human version.
I think so. I haven't watched this one in a long time. I don't know if it was like in the vault or something, or it was like a VHS we didn't have, because man, I need to watch this one again. I love that
Disney
stuff.
Plus. I guarantee you it'll be streaming on Disney Plus.
For sure. Okay, that's going to be the one. Like, enough with all that other garbage with Frosty and the other thing. Like, if there's going to be a cartoon on, it is going to be the Disney Christmas Carol. Now, speaking of which, my number three is also a Christmas Carol, and it is the Muppet version of the Christmas Carol.
That is also a good call. Yes, that's a good one.
It would not be a Rob list without a Muppet movie on it. And in this time, it isn't just, to check the box. It is a very good telling of the Christmas story. Scrooge is Michael Caine. And he just, so good. I don't know if you've seen this one in a while, but he plays it. He plays it like he was doing a very serious, dramatic rendition of A Christmas Carol. And he's just surrounded by silly puppets the whole time. It's so, so good. You've got Gonzo and Rizzo, the rat, breaking the fourth wall and keeping it interesting, because it is a retelling of the Dickens play, which is, of course, over wordy and boring. But you got these two knuckleheads that come in and give you these little brief recaps for the kids, and they even say, hey, for the kids who might have gotten bored, here's what's going on. It's really good. It's really, really good.
I think it's great that both of us have a version of the Christmas Carol in our list and both on brand for each of our kind of nerdiness. But you've reminded me I'm going to go back and watch the Muppet Christmas Carol because it has been a little while since I've seen it.
It is also interesting to note that the Muppet Christmas Carol was the next movie that was made after the death of Jim Henson. So you do have the new voice for Kermit and some of the other characters, those folks doing their best. But I would say not only did the creators of that movie really try to do justice to a classic Christmas story, you can also tell they were very much trying to do justice to Jim Henson's legacy at that time, as this was their first effort in soldiering on after his death.
That is very interesting fact because I wouldn't have placed that as such. It really still feels like Jim Henson.
Right. They continued to kind of ride that wave and do what they could.
All right. Well, going on to number 2, Rob, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is also very tangentially related to Christmas in the sense that it happens at Christmas time, but This is the Disney Marvel series Hawkeye. Hawkeye was one of my favorite ones. It introduces, I don't know why I try to remember names. I just it seems like I start talking and it's just going to come out of my brain, but it doesn't. There's a literal door there that won't open for me.
Are you talking about Haley? What's her name?
Yeah, but I can't even think of the character's name.
She just married Josh Allen.
Is that true?
Yes.
Hawkeye married Josh Allen?
Mm-hmm.
What a power couple.
Is it Haley Jones?
Good Lord.
Haley, it's not Haley Smith. It's Haley. Maybe it's not Haley at all.
Haley Steinfeld. Anyway, the name I was trying to think of was Kate Bishop.
So it introduces Kate Bishop.
Introduces the Kate Bishop Hawkeye, which is the young lady Hawkeye, but Jeremy Renner's all over it. And with his, it's just this fun superhero story of Bishop is uncovering this big, kingpin run, secret murder, new villain. And then you've got Jeremy Renner and his family visiting New York to go see a show. That's where we get the Avengers, the musical is in that show.
Oh, those scenes are so good.
It's so funny and so good. We actually, after it came out, we rewatched it a couple Christmases in a row. It was what do you want to watch? It's Christmas time. I'm let's watch Hawkeye again. That's pretty funny. And it was a good little Christmas spirit movie or series. So it's a mini series. It's short. I don't know, 6 episodes or something like that. And it just happens around Christmas time. It's got great characters. I think, as you reminded us, Haley Steinfeld, now Haley Steinfeld Allen, or she might be, does a great job bringing that character to life.
Yeah.
I loved the Hawkeye comic book that inspired this show. And I thought the show was an excellent telling of these characters. And it's a Christmas time one. So, and that's pretty nerdy. It's pretty niche to find your not just comic book, but comic book reboot holiday series special. And that is why it is my number 2.
I forget that it takes place during Christmas time, but yes, they really well done for this one. Yeah, maybe I'll rewatch it too. I was actually just bummed that they didn't do anything with Kate Bishop. That was it. Did she come out in anything else? I don't think so.
No,
and I was disappointed because I thought they were going to launch her off of that, and I don't think they did.
Should have been in Thunderbolts because that's kind of where all that went was into Thunderbolts,
and she wasn't.
She wasn't there, so
yeah.
I don't know if that, we'll see. We'll see if that shows up again or not. I hope it does, but even if it does and it just kind of exists in its own thing, that's fine too.
It's still really well done.
Oh, you know what? I haven't watched the new Daredevil yet. I wonder if she's in the new Daredevil.
Well, it's possible because I have not watched that yet either. I know, and we have to soon for an upcoming episode, so.
But if you're going to watch a Marvel Cinematic Christmas special, since you've already seen Hawkeye, you got to check out that Guardians of the Galaxy one.
Yeah. I'm going to consider that one. 100%.
Right.
Well, my number 2,
What
Rob,
is your number 2?
We grew up as sarcastic teenagers with MTV's animated series like Darla and Beavis and Butthead. And Beavis and Butthead has made a resurgence. They've made newer episodes, modern episodes of it. But sometime in the height of its popularity in the 90s came Beavis and Butthead Do Christmas. Now, I don't know how many times I've seen this, but it makes my top list because it makes me laugh every single time. And it might be less than 5 times that I've seen it, but I laugh at its absurdness and stupidity every single time.
Cannot remember what happens. Is it them, like how they used to sit and watch music videos? Is it them sitting there watching Christmas, like clips of classic Christmas movies? Am I remembering that right?
That is spliced in between a storyline, just like Beavis and Butthead Do America. I think this Beavis and Butthead Do Christmas was before they made a big motion picture, Beavis and Butthead Do America, which is kind of that same thing, right? So this was, I think, before that. But yeah, you get a little bit of them sitting in front of the television, cracking jokes, and you get a little bit of a storyline, which I don't want to tell you in case you go and seek it out so you can like watch it with fresh eyes.
Hey, Mike Judge has done a lot of things, and they're all good.
Yes.
Like, they really are.
And they still hold water 30 years later.
Did you know he did like this whole music documentary series on HBO that was also animated? And it's like serious dramatic tellings of musicians' biographies.
No, but I'm going to have to go find it now because I'm sure they're great.
I think they're on YouTube. Somebody was telling me about it.
Okay.
Like, dude, this guy does so many crazy things. I think the person who was telling me about it was telling me like they watched the Waylon Jennings documentary animated by Mike Judge. Okay.
Good stuff. Yeah, I'm going to have to.
Oh my God. Beavis and Butthead Do Christmas.
It's stupid. You're going to be like, you really made me watch that, but it's going to make you
already like, well, how long is it?
I mean, it's your typical like hour. It's not.
I am curious, but yeah, 1 hour. Okay.
Yeah.
1995's Beavis and Butthead Do Christmas.
Absurd and it's stupid, but to me, it just sits in our age group. It sits in our young Gen Xers or our late Gen Xers. This is what we were doing. This is what we were laughing at when we were that age. 30 years ago.
All right. That takes us to our number ones.
Number ones. This is truly a number one for me.
Okay. What is your number one?
I'm going to tell you a quick story.
Okay.
So the year is 1997, and it is May of 1997. And I remember this specifically because, as I've mentioned before, I had the unique and amazing life opportunity to record with Fleetwood Mac. That was over the course of 4 days on the Warner Brothers studio lot in Los Angeles. So we would meet at USC campus, get bussed over about 20-30 minute drive across LA in a bus. And 2 days were rehearsals and 2 days were concerts. And they filmed both of those nights of concerts and spliced it into a live album and spliced it into the VHS. I'm waiting for the time that I can buy the live version on DVD because I still have the VHS, but I don't have a VHS player anymore. Anyways.
Was there a digital version?
I don't think there is. And if there was, they sold it for a short amount of time, but I'll find it at some point. There are versions like online, like on YouTube and stuff that are digitized and you can see and it's really nice.
But somebody just ripped them. It wasn't actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
So going to school at USC, you inevitably have friends whose families are in the industry or know people who are in the industry.
Yeah, you're right down there.
Yes, we're right down in the middle of it. USC band. I got to be in industry things just like this recording. So somewhere, someone pops in a VHS on this 20-30 minute bus ride, and it's this different kind of animation that we've never seen before. No one's heard of it, but the way it was told to us was someone hired these two unknown guys to create this cartoon called The Spirit of Christmas. And it was these 4 kind of kid characters, one who's really overweight, they're cursing and swearing, they run into Jesus who's looking for the shopping mall Santa, and these 2 guys get in a fight, and it is unhinged, it is off the wall in this town in Colorado called South Park.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to remember, this is about a year before South Park is picked up by Comedy Central. So it was not a thing. This was a project that these guys did while they were in school. And somehow one of my friends had a VHS copy of The Spirit of Christmas, and we watched it every single day on the way to the recording studio and on the way back, to the extent that we were quoting it forever. And then about a year later, South Park is released. So this is the origins of South Park. I put a link on our document. We'll put a link somewhere, folks. This is not safe for work. It can be very offensive.
Yeah. The only way I could find it was you could watch it on I don't know, whatever kind of real player if you could find it on the internet somewhere.
Yes.
So in order to watch this, we would have to either like, the really sneaky was to use a school computer and find it and then like turn the volume down low so the teachers wouldn't hear what's going on and like sit there. But I remember going over to friends' houses, especially our friend Coach, who was definitely
super
had a
tech guy. He was like the techiest guy we knew.
Exactly. That could find it and stream it, and going over to his house and watching it a bunch of time and over and over and over again. And when you say this was the origins of South Park, this was the origins of South Park. This is Trey Parker and Matt Stone doing everything. This was, like you said, a project. It's, you know, I don't know if you can tell if you're only familiar with very modern South Park. The way that started out is it's all construction paper. Like the way that animation is all construction paper. And if you look at, because I just pulled it up, if you look at The Spirit of Christmas on IMDb, it is literally cast and crew, Trey Parker, Matt Stone. Writers, Trey Parker, Matt Stone. Directors, Trey Parker, Matt Stone. Producers, Trey Parker, Matt Stone. Editors, Trey Parker, Matt Stone. Like, that's it.
They did everything. It was a school project while they were at the University of Colorado. Somehow it blew up, and Comedy Central got a hold of it and said, we need this to be a show. And they created a new form of animation. And that's what's so beautiful about South Park is we could have something happen, which, I mean, it's still on the air now. So you see, Stranger Things came out, you know, a number of weeks ago. That very next episode can be about Stranger Things because they created an animation that doesn't take a lot of time. So they are very timely with their episodes. And that was a huge thing then.
Have you seen the documentary they have called like 5 Days to Air or whatever? That's like the documentary of their process.
No, but I bet it's awesome.
Right, it's incredible. I've seen a bunch of clips of it, but it's wild what they do. And then they have another documentary that just came out about how they bought the restaurant Casa Bonita in California or in Colorado. And like gutted it and replaced it. And like the just absolute money trap that it turned into and all this kind of stuff. But like those guys, what a wild career that we've seen unfold for them since in those 30 years. But that's where it started. And I remember like it was one of those things you had to see that clip because it was so irreverent and so cursy and so subverting of expectations.
It's nothing that we had ever seen before at the time. And now, you know, South Park has its shock value and everyone's used to it. We had nothing like it at the time. You know, Daria and Beavis and Butthead were the closest we had at the time, but even them, they weren't as timely. They were just smart aleck teens. This is cursing and swearing and violence and having Jesus come down and they're talking about Jewish people. I mean, it's insulting in all directions.
Yeah.
But it is so funny. It's a must-watch for me.
And it felt so rebellious at the time, right? Like you couldn't, not only did you have to like not, you know, watch it not by any teachers or adults or whatever, but like you didn't even want them to know it existed.
Yes. Yeah. We did. First rule of the Spirit of Christmas is you don't talk about the Spirit of Christmas. See, you were still in high school watching this, right? This is my freshman year of college, and it's at the end of the college year before I've moved back home for the summer, and we were just watching it on repeat. We were sit there, rewind it, and watch it again because it's very short. So in a 20-30 minute bus ride, we'd watch it like 3 times.
And what's funny is I don't remember calling it Spirit of Christmas. I remember calling it Jesus versus Santa Claus.
Jesus versus Santa Claus,
what we would call it. Yeah. And it was like, you haven't seen Jesus versus Santa Claus yet? Oh my God, we got to go find a computer and we got to go download Napster and we got to find it. And we got to get it.
It was viral before viral was viral.
100%. Yes, that's exactly what it was for sure.
But what a great, I watch it every year. I have to. And I just like Beavis and Butthead Do Christmas, I laugh out loud every single time.
Very cool.
And your number one, sir?
My number one is not nearly as cool and exciting as that. It is actually very boring. It is the classic black and white movie, It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart. When we would have these holiday breaks as kids, right? We'd have these winter breaks and it was this extended time. There was always an opportunity for my parents to be fed up with us and ship us off to other relatives. So sometimes we would go spend a few days with, you know, my aunt and uncles. And sometimes we would go spend a few days with grandma and grandpa or whatever. And when we were at grandma and grandpa's house, it would always be a thing to, you know, grandma would make fresh baked cookies and we'd get eggnog and we'd watch It's a Wonderful Life. And I remember being like a little kid, that's a pretty boring movie. And I would usually fall asleep, which was probably exactly what they wanted. Yeah. You would fill them with eggnog and put them to sleep with It's a Wonderful Life. It was one of those things, like a very early thing of like, okay, well, this is a Christmas movie and we've watched it a lot over the years, but also it's a multiverse movie.
It really is. It
really is. That kind of first thing that, like, even as a little kid, like, I really love these branching timeline multiverse movies. And so when I became older, like in my 80s, and my grandfather had passed away, and like that kind of childhood comfort and stuff wasn't there anymore. Now I was like professional with a wife and a mortgage and whatever. For whatever reason, it became very important to me that every year we would watch It's a Wonderful Life, and we'd get the eggnog, and we would have a night and make some popcorn, sit under the glow of the Christmas tree and watch It's a Wonderful Life. And we did that for years and years, my wife and I, until we got sick of it, and probably until we had a kid. And then it was like, nope, Christmas is about something different now. You got to run around and do like little kid stuff. But for a while there, that was like a very strong staple of Christmas was It's a Wonderful Life. And I'll probably get back to that someday as well. When, the holidays are like quiet again, it'll just be that nice, reminder of what things were like. But it is a good movie. It's sweet and it's classic and it's Jimmy Stewart and it's nerdy because it is a multiverse movie.
At the end of the day, it is sci-fi-ish multiverse, sliding doors, what if kind of film. 100%. No, timeless classic. There's nothing not exciting about that whatsoever. I think your experiences, a lot of people's experiences with this
maybe
film.
Could go either way. I hear some people just hate that movie and thinks it's the most dumb and like sacrosanct, annoying thing ever. And I'm like, well, I love it.
I have a feeling it's going to come back in your life around a time you're ready to show it to Andrew.
I think I probably showed it to him too early and he was like, this is boring. Can I go play cars now? We'll see.
Right on. Well, that's our top 5 list nerds. What's yours? What are the ones that we missed? Are you just absolutely aghast that we haven't talked about or don't have on our list a Christmas story? Tell us why. Write us, podcast@nerdbestfriends.com. Tell us your favorite must-watch holiday specials.
Can't wait. Get them in soon because we don't want to be talking about Christmas specials in March.
Maybe we do. Christmas in July. For the last time in 2025, Rob, tell me, what's the nerdiest thing you did this week?
The nerdiest thing that I did this week was actually pretty nerdy and fun. My family and another couple met up in Los Angeles, downtown at the Ricardo Montalban Theater, which has been there forever, but I didn't know existed. Did you know there was a Ricardo Montalban Theater?
No idea.
Imagine a theater, but everywhere you look, there's giant posters and images of Ricardo Montalban everywhere.
That's beautiful.
I
must go now.
It was beautiful. But we went to go see the 20-Sided Tavern, which is it's a Dungeons and Dragons inspired improv comedy play, right? There's definitely a lot of like scripted parts, but there is some randomness and excitement and improviness to it as well. Real fun. It was real fun. I would say it was when you kind of look at it and it's like, okay, well, they're going to try to pack in a Dungeons and Dragons adventure and a bunch of improv comedy in 200 minutes. Right. So if you analyze it, it's a real mediocre adventure with mediocre comedy in it. But being there live and doing the thing is where all the fun is. So Maria and Andrew had seen it on Broadway when they did their big New York trip for his 16th birthday. And what he said was, you could tell it's the same framework. It's the same show. In fact, 2 of the actors were the same as they had seen there. But it was very different because all the different roles you're making and decisions the audience making actually do, affect the show. So there's 3 player characters that are going to come out and it's like, I can play this character, this character, or this character. And you take out your phone and you vote for the one you want them to play. And so I was like, is this fake? Like, cause they could really just be, whatever. And Andrew's like, no, we did this in New York too. And it was different. Like people chose different things. So that was kind of cool. So we chose the bard and we chose the cleric and we chose the whatever. And then they go through their little adventure. And every once in a while, they'll like call somebody up from the audience to grab grab this gigantic foam D20 and roll it for some big high stakes roll across the stage and everything. Lots of audience participation and a lot of that kind of improv, like, okay, well, I'm going to roll with this and do the thing. So really charming, really fun, went by super quick because it was entertaining and, you were in a lot of nerdy Dungeons and Dragons. And again, one of those things where it's like, you look around and it's like, well, who's the audience for a show like that? Big old nerds. That's who. Yep. Yeah, people there, they're in costume. You can tell they're like dressed to the nines. Maria had her D20 earrings on. Andrew had a big like beholder shirt on and stuff. So it was real fun. And we got to meet up with some friends. Yeah. The 20-sided tavern. If it comes to your city, go. Yeah, it's a good time. How about you? What is the nerdiest thing you've done this week?
Did you give out stickers?
No.
The nerdiest thing I did this week.
What I needed to be doing was out there hawking koozies, am I right?
Yeah, you're right. Like koozies, $1?
$5.
Roll a D20. If you get 11 and above, it's free. If you get 10 and under, it's $1.
I could have just stood next to the hot dog making lady outside and just been like, you need a koozie for that water. You need a koozie for that water. $5.
Dang it. Opportunity lost. Goodness. No. Thank you for asking, Rob. The nerdiest thing I did this week is really over the last few weeks. I'm going to say over Thanksgiving break, the new season of Stranger Things dropped, and they're doing a few interesting things this time around. The first is they are dropping the season in 3 volumes. Volume 1 was the first 4 of 8 episodes. I think Volume 2 is going to be the next 3 episodes, and then Volume 3 is going to be the final episode. So let me talk about this first. What an interesting way to do a season. I know we grew up at a time where with a cliffhanger, you might have to wait from May until the next September when the next season started. Or we definitely grew up at a time where that weekly viewing, where in between you might be like, what do you think is going to happen next week? And I can't believe this happened. And streaming kind of changed all that, where they'll drop a whole season and you can binge an entire season all in one sitting. And so some of the streaming services have changed that model back to what we know a little bit, knowing that, hey, if I have 9 episodes, if I have 9 episodes, I can keep the subscription going by making it go week to week to week. So now it's a monetary thing versus a Nelson television ratings thing, right? But regardless, there's a few different things about what they're doing with Stranger Things. One is instead of 1 episode a week, they're dropping a group, Volume 1. And they actually wrote it. Now, there are some reels out there where they're doing table reads, and they do a table read of episode 4 at the end because not even a lot of the cast knew what was going to happen. And there's a big, big reveal I won't spoil here. But big reveal, they're all reacting to it. And one of the Duffer Brothers is like an end Volume 1. So they wrote it in this distinct way. The second thing that's different is these are not your typical 45 to 47 minute episodes.
Right.
These episodes are like an hour and a half. The final episode, I think, ranks over 2 hours long. They're writing mini movies. And I will tell you, the 4th episode in the first volume and 4th episode of this season, it's a movie. It's a film. And there's a continuous scene that's basically like your typical Hollywood battle scene where the kids are trying to all escape while there's demogorgons and military guys fighting and there's people getting shot and torn and eaten up and they're trying to escape. And it's like this cinematic flowing of the camera while they're going from behind this thing to running to behind this tank to running to it is so good. We're in regardless of what people think about Stranger Things, and this is kind of where I nerded out, we're watching really good storytelling. And it's reminding me of Buffy because you can watch episode 1 of Buffy and almost all of the strings that will go through those 7 seasons are there. Joss Whedon knew what he wanted to get to at the end, and there's a bunch of goop and other good or bad things in between, but those themes from day 1 were the themes that closed the show out. Like, Buffy, what are you going to do now? And now you can see those same strings. They are doing the same good job of this random episode of season 2 is why does this episode exist? This is so weird. People railed against it, and oh my gosh, it is full circle as a character from that episode pops up in the 4th episode of season 5, and all of a sudden it's opening doors to all that's possible. The D&D strings all the way through that you're learning, season 1 was the Demogorgons. It was actually Vecna the whole time, and here's all the hints that you missed because you didn't know about Vecna. Season 2, it's the Mind Flayer. Oh no, that was Vecna controlling the Mind Flayer, and here's all the hints that you missed back then that they're now superimposing over scenes of that. They knew where they were going with this. They didn't know that they were going to be popular enough to get to season 5, but they laid out those tracks, or either they laid them out so well that they could refer back to them. I don't know which way it is, but I'm going to give them credit that they knew what they wanted to do with this. It is such good storytelling. And if you haven't got into it, and listeners, if you haven't gotten into it, I know it gets annoying because of the hype, and some things are hyped up and they don't translate the storytelling and the connection to D&D that I didn't get in 2019 because I hadn't really played D&D yet. Like so much more strong now. And it is so good. I just nerded out about like figuring out all these threads and going back to other episodes. I'm like, oh yeah, they said this in the episode and it's repeated here. And it means the same thing, but now I understand what it means, right? Like, it's just so good.
All right. Well, I know you're super into it, and I know Andrew is super into it, and I know nerds that I follow online are like, well, I guess it doesn't suck as bad as seasons 3 and 4. Which I guess in nerd internet culture is a positive.
I mean, I don't understand that hate because season 4 was phenomenal as well. Season 4 was scary. Season 4, like, I couldn't watch in the dark, right? And this is coming from someone who loves horror and Stephen King and stuff like that. Like, the people think it's cool to hate on it because it wasn't what they wanted it to be versus what it actually is. If you can just release what you think it should be and watch what they are doing, it is phenomenal. It really is. And at the end of the day, I'm a fan of anything with a good story, right? I don't care the genre. Same with music. I don't care the genre. If it's got good lyrics and it's something that resounds to me, I will listen to it. This is the same thing. And now the dilemma has been, do I go to the theater to watch the final episode?
Wouldn't you?
Well, 2 reasons. 1, they're only showing it on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. 2, it's only select theaters. The closest one is 3 hours away. 3, it sold out before I could make a decision, but people are now reselling the tickets. Now, I will tell you the overarching thing, and actually we had discussions with lots of nerds on this on Threads. We're at the age where it's like, do we deal with it being so people-y on their phones and this, that, and the other? Do I take that gamble without no captions? I can't pause it to go to the bathroom when I want. And you're going to be around people. Do I really
this
take that?
This is so me. It's always what I think about.
Yes, but I will also say, I will
it goes
also
back to the Lord of the Rings thing we were talking about earlier. Like, really, I'm going to sit there for 3.5 hours, not being able to pause it, no captions.
Right. But we also talk about some of those theater experiences that we'll never forget because of being around other people watching it. So, like, ultimately, 3 hours is a bit much. Like, I really have taken to the Rob Cooper rule. Like, I don't want to be in the car longer than the thing it is that I'm doing. So 6 hours round trip in a car for a 2-hour movie, really, that math doesn't math for me. And then I thought, what if we just made a night of it? But then we're talking about getting a sitter for Tilly. And like, it turns into a thing. I was going to say,
like, you could really go all out and be like, well, let's make it part of our New York vacation.
Right. And like, if we were doing something like that,
enough movie theaters, right? That aren't sold out.
But here's the good news. Most movie theaters do this now, and I think a lot do. It's really smart. On New Year's Eve, I'm just going to go to the local theater because you can go in without a ticket. They don't take your ticket until you leave the concession stand. I'm just going to go buy some movie theater popcorn, go to the dollar store and get some snacks, and then we're just going to watch it at home.
I mean, it's a day and date release, right?
Yes. Same day. Yeah.
So.
And a lot of people on Threads responded to us. It was a really cool conversation to have. It was one of our most viewed threads like ever, about 8,000 views and 30 something comments. And it was really great. But when kind of talking to people, they're like, we're going to watch it at home on New Year's Eve and then go watch it with others on New Year's Day. Like that's actually pretty smart. I would do that without having to worry about paying attention to it too closely.
Right. Like you're not hanging on everything. You can be a little more relaxed and not so annoyed.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was answered for me. There was one 3 hours away and I was about to just buy a ticket. There was like one ticket on the corner of one row that's far enough away. And I was going to, what if I just buy this ticket? But then they weren't your typical movie ticket prices either. So it wasn't worth the gamble.
Funny story. When I went to 20-Sided Tavern, there was a lady next to me who had gotten like a drink with ice from the concessions. It was sitting there and like just absolutely heightened triggering my sense of misophonia as she was like, doing like the straw slur and then the like stirring of the ice and then like the crunching of the ice. And I was just like super tense. And that lady was my wife.
It's the same for me. Like, even if I do it, like when you buy a snack that's got like a cellophane wrapper and it's like, I'm going to open this right now before the second half starts and like pour it all in something.
Do it quick.
Yeah. Not
zip, zap, done. You're not being any quieter. You're just killing me. slowly from the inside.
But yes, I am getting movie theater popcorn on New Year's Eve from our local movie theater, and we're gonna watch the final episode, and I'm super excited about wherever it's going. In fact, the next volume comes out next week. So right in the middle of winter break, I know what I'm going to do is watch the next handful of episodes. Really good storytelling. We're watching some brilliance, and I don't care whether or not it's cool to like or dislike those seasons. It's worth it.
We are taking a 2-week nerd break to spend time with our families during the upcoming holidays. Check back for some nostalgia episodes in between now and January when we celebrate episode 88 with Marty McFly, a DeLorean, and possibly one of the most perfect movies ever made. We sincerely hope you have an amazing holiday full of joy, laughter, and nerdiness. Before you go, hit that follow or subscribe button. Drop us a 5-star rating if you're feeling the nerd love. Find us on social at NerdBestFriends or email us at podcast@nerdbestfriends.com. Help us grow the nerd herd and keep that geeky goodness rolling.
Okay, well, nerds, happy holidays, happy new year. We'll see you in 2026.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Virtual hugs.